to do part 2 of the flat back posture, and for this I've actually got the glute band on me. If you don't have a glute band, don't worry about it. You can still work in this next video for part 2 of your flat back posture. You're going back to the squat. We've done the squat where we get the lumbar curve to start to reappear through pelvic tilts. I'm showing you sideways. Breathe in and go down into that squat. Breathe out and come back up. Pull your hip bones backwards and pull your hip bones forwards. In your mind, imagine the tailbone and the sit bones are taking you away and behind you as they're reaching for a seat. Reach your arms back and put your fingertips to your sit bones. As you're going into this posture, then stay. Keep the hands in the direction of the sit bones. Exhaling, pelvic tilt, and breathe in and find yourself in neutral. So this position here with the band, I've got a gentle connection with the band. It's not massive, but it's definitely there. As I pelvic tilt, it's pelvic floor, navel spine, and my real effort is on finding that extension in my lower back. Stay. Stay in that extension, pick up your heel to tiptoes, and then you're going to lower. So I've got my right heel up. I'm staying in extension of the lumbar, in other words, neutral. Inhaling and exhaling. There's nothing in my back, but I really feel my hamstrings. You're going to do 10 kind of inner range, end range moves here, breathing without twisting, and then lower that heel down, breathe, and pick up the other heel. And the same here, inhaling and exhaling. So that sense of lengthening the breath, pulling down through your heel, pushing the sit bone back and back and back, breathing, and then put both heels down again. Inhale, stand, go back to 5 squats. If you can get everything pushing as though the sit bones are pulling that hamstring away from the ground, then you'll get the freeing up of the ham to allow the pelvis to be more naturally in a neutral alignment. We go down and stay. Going to go again, pick up a heel. If you want to allow some arms, so that you've got that rhythm going on, you can still feel dominance of hamstring connect with your quads to some degree, but you're breathing trunk. And you're going to stop, switch, and we go again. Often the moving of the arms frees up more of the body, particularly if you're breathing. So what you have here is known as a gait almost, a gait cycle. The rhythm of the shoulder, the rhythm of the pelvis. You're not twisting or shifting, you're emphasising the hamstring connect, and then let that go. Breathe, exhaling and stand up. You could do another set. We're not going to because we have a restriction on time and what I want to get through, but that's something, an exercise you could do daily. Take yourself into that squat. Feel as though your sit bones are reaching away from the ground. Exhale again, then nod the chin, roll down and find your hands to the floor and stretch out without tucking under the hamstring again. Now it should stretch out more easily because it's worked and there's some blood flow. Remember your hamstring, you'll feel it right up to your sit bones. And next time you breathe out, soften the knees right down. Don't worry about tucking under and bring yourself onto your hands and knees. On hands and knees, you're going to put your hands either side and edges of the mat as long as it's a natural width mat, as we've described previously. And your thigh bones parallel, feeling something of the glute band. Inhale and prep, and then exhale, take your right hand off and thread it under, keeping the lower back in its neutral. And exhaling other side, take the left hand off. Make sure the shoulder allows the movement round and down, and the shoulder and thoracic spine allows you to come back. Keep your sit bones reaching away from the floor. The rotation is thoracic and cervical spine. Inhaling, exhale. My sit bones know exactly where they are. I'm using pelvic floor, navel spine as I find that thread the needle action. We're asking the upper spine now to move a bit more because it's become hostage. When a back is flattened structurally, very little of the spine wants to move. It's too busy being jarred, which is why I'm now doing this mobilizer. Last time. All right, keep the load in the hand and now breathe out and push the leg out and lift. So staying here, I've got my right leg out. I'm now working for the hamstring and glute in its length. As the leg lifts and lowers, if I stay in my neutral, then I keep the attention on the hamstring, the glute stabilising, and the obliques, that's the hip bones, the ribcage frontal, having to lengthen. I refuse to tuck under. My leg is reaching rather than throwing itself up and down in the air, and I've got 10 just here. We're strengthening the opposition, as it were. In other words, if your obliques have to stay long and your glutes and hamstrings connect, then they're supported from the back of the pelvis down to the foot. Okay, people, and slide that back again. Breathe in. Exhaling. Make sure you haven't posteriorly tilted. Reach the leg out. You've got your lumbar curve, okay? It's not in your lower back because your obliques are supporting that. And then lift and lower. You can, if it gives you sensory feedback, put your right hand on your abdomen area and feel the connection with the oblique. So I know that this area here with every breath out is finding pelvic floor and oblique length. My shoulders are away from my neck. My weight in my hands is to the outside of the heel of the hand, little finger to wrist area, as it were, and therefore I'm getting my oblique lats and serratus connection here as my leg reaches and reaches and reaches and reaches, at which point, well done. Take yourself now down and onto the floor. The reaching of the leg, we're going to do some dart type movements. On the flat back posture, the minute you're on the floor, you'll get the reference points as to where your hip bones are. Now, unlike other postures, we ask the hip bones to feel lifted. In the flattened lower back, we want you to just allow the body to sink here. Pop your forehead onto your hands, pull your shoulders away from your neck. I put my thumbs together, my fingers over each other, and my shoulders are drawing away from my neck and pushing against my forearm. Go to your breathing, and several times just let the body melt into the ground underneath you. Don't try and change anything. Allow gravity, your deep breath in and out, to allow the spine some freedom to find its natural curve. Once you're there, with the natural curve, keep the sense of a heavy sacrum, that's the pubic bone, hip bone area, frontal, heavy legs but reaching legs. And on the next inhale, push your nose forwards and look beyond your hands. As you look at the edge of your mat, as you breathe out, push against the mat and pull your chest forwards, creating more of a curve, using pelvic floor navel to spine. Try not to clench your glutes. Inhale just here, and exhale, feel the abdomen, the ribs return back down again until you find your nose to your thumbs. Inhaling, nudge the nose forwards like rolling a marble. You'll look at the end of your mat. Exhaling, gently press against the forearm of the hand as you find a way of opening your chest. Now, if it's happier for shoulders to have your hands wide here, then take them here, breathe in, keep the hand connection to the ground and come back down. We're trying to encourage an oblique, the front of you, to lengthen. So here's where it lengthens. Breathe in. We're going to go further. Keep the pubic bone dominant, navel to spine, and then you can push till you end up as far up into your extension as you can be. Shoulder blades drawn together. Exhaling, pull the ground under you and come back. Inhaling. Nose, exhaling. Obliques connect. The obliques are getting longer, longer, longer. And up here, imagine you're pulling your oblique hip bones to your chin. Breathe in. And then breathing out, pull the spine down. So now we've increased some mobility to the spine. We're going to take this now, actually I tell you what, come back into child pose, just in case for you that felt extreme. Now often, when we're learning how to move, we don't get it perfect, but that's not wrong. All that matters is you take yourself through the opposite range of movement, which is now a flat back's most happy place. Breathe in again and out here to hydrate and release. And then pull yourself back down again. Settle into your strong long line and have your palms facing the ceiling, your shoulder blades drawn together and your feet connected to the floor. The band is being stretched slightly and your nose is hovering the floor. Exhale, shrink the core area. Keep the pubic bone and hip bones heavier as long as it's not in your back, and then find your shoulder blades. Breathe in. My hands are by my thighs now. Shoulder blades are squeezing. I hold, inhaling and exhaling, keeping heaviness through the sacrum to the hip bones. Back of the pelvis, that would be the sacrum, is obviously. The heaviness is pubic bone, hip bones, and inhale, back down. We go exhaling, lengthening the legs, core hollowing, upper thoracic area lengthening, obliques connecting, and inhaling to stay, exhaling to come back down. And again. The crown of your head reaches forwards, your rib cage connects, you'll feel your side glute, you'll feel your pubic bone and hip bones dominant, but nothing in the lumbar, and back down again. And so if your lower back has some activation, as long as it's paired with frontal abdominal core, then that's completely acceptable, okay? It's if it's all lower back and nothing frontal. You've got two more here, breathe. And one last one. Hold, 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 hold. And then allow that to go back down. Place your hands under your shoulders, breathe in. As you breathe out, take yourself back into your child pose. Inhaling and exhaling. And then coming onto your side again. Onto your side, find your side position. And have your legs straight. All right, the obliques that you've now worked frontally and the upper back, keep that length and take it to the lift and the lower. Press down with the underneath leg and lift the leg up and stay. So now we're side bottom, breathe. Exhale then and stretch up another inch and down, or a few more degrees. Remember what we're doing here, we're keeping a completely neutral spine. The hip is having to work in its neutral position, so you've got a bit more flexor work than you normally have. A flat back posture has a very, very tight flexor, so we're asking the flexors to be stronger, working in unison with the abductors and with the obliques. Keep this going and stay. So you've done your lift and lower, you've then done your increase. You're now going to flex and extend. Functional, exhale. Feel the flexor and the extensors work together. So feel the neutral spine, pelvic position staying as your leg moves in a neutral pelvis. Unheard of for a flat back posture. It tends to constantly tuck under and keep everything short. Here you'll get a real feedback of the extend and bend that the hip in neutral is meant to activate. All right, let that be the last one. You're going to come all the way over to the other side. Final side. Final understanding. Find your straight line. Remember, as a flat back, it's as though your tailbone's reaching way behind you. Breathing in, exhaling, up we go. Underneath leg presses down, inhaling and down. So you're breathing out, you'll lengthen through the trunk area. You've discovered length in the previous activity when you did dart. That's helped you feel, with the ground under you, a little bit more length of that spine rather than the constant compression. As you lift, you feel for the band and lower. You're drawing up through the bikini area here, and the curve is blatant. It's not forced, but it's found. And then you're going to stay. Exhaling. So you've got your end range, lifting and lowering. Remember, if you're not tucked under, this will be here. The pelvis and the pubis a square with the direction you're facing. You're inhaling and exhaling to hydrate and connect continuously the trunk stability system. And then hold. This is where you're more likely to tuck under in this moment here as you bend the leg and push the leg away. In your mind, imagine you've got a band around the heel and you're pressing the heel away from the hip bone. When you bend the leg, keep the sit bone feeling as though it's reaching backwards and extend to straight. Inhaling and sit bone reaches backwards, extend. Abductor work, flexor work, in neutral. That's why it's so demanding. And the band gives you the feedback that you need. Okay, you've just got 2 more. And 1 more. And stay. And let it go. Okay, people, and that's your second workout for your flattened back posture. Hopefully there's that increased sense of where neutral would be, where you will actually find a much bigger increase of range of movement through the lordosis. So you'll go from no lordosis, I obviously am the opposite of that, into some lordosis. Lordosis simply is the natural curve for your lumbar spine. You may take your band off and get on with your day. We will do part 3 of this, so well done. Another tick against the posture type of recovery, rehab, and therefore in all the general stuff we do, it should make much more sense to use specifically a far more bespoke program. Stay well, have a great day, and stay safe. Bye for now.